Can we call Tyrone Williams to the stage, please? You can stay for a while, right? You don't have to? No, good. All right, this man on the stage is a winner. Simple as that. He has been a winner for almost every team on which he has played. Queen Elizabeth Lions, 1986 and 87, provincial champions. University of Western Ontario, Vanier Cup champions, his top team in Canadian inter-university sport, 1989. Dallas Cowboys, Super Bowl champions, best in the NFL, 1992 and 1993. Toronto Argonauts, Grey Cup champions as the best in the Canadian Football League, 1996. Can you name one other player who possesses championship rings from the NFL, CFL, and Canadian University Football? Bill, is there Ken Clark? Is that the only? He never won a Super Bowl, did he? Right. This guy's the answer to a trivia question, ladies and gentlemen. Let us go back to 1986 when this lean, lanky kid arrived on QEH's campus and tried out for the football team.
He had, a terrific amount of skill, and we knew that he was going to be a good high school football player. We really never know what's going to happen down the road, that he was going to go to Western and then, to Dallas and then to Toronto and win 3 different rings. Yeah. So no, we didn't know. We didn't have that attitude towards him initially.
He was a quarterback and wide receiver, usually calling signals for the first half of the game. Then the margin got so big that Coach Mike Tanner would replace him with a future All-Canadian quarterback, David Sykes, and he'd shift Tyrone to receiver. Here's Mike Tanner.
We had one of our teams where we were very successful, and Tyrone was our starting quarterback, and he would quarterback the first half, and then he'd move to wide receiver in the second half, and David Sykes would come in. And, in the second half, David would throw 3 or 4 or 5 passes to Tyrone. He would catch most of them. So when I went to the All-Star meeting, I was going to nominate Tyrone as our All-Star wide receiver. And the other coaches who were there also recommended that I nominate him for the All-Star quarterback, which I did, and he won both positions. He was the All-Star quarterback and the All-Star wide receiver on the same team in the same year. Of course, the standing joke was he threw it to himself, which he was probably talented enough to do that.
Did you play them both at the same time? Very long arms, yeah. Tyrone was recruited to play at Western, where he had a stellar 4-year career. He was an Ontario University Athletic Association All-Star for 4 years and an All-Canadian twice.
I knew that he was a college player. Not only was he a college player athletically, but he was definitely a college candidate academically. And so I knew that he was going to go wherever he wanted.
His performance in the 1989 Vanier Cup game, a 35-10 win over the University of Saskatchewan, convinced U.S. coaches to invite Tyrone to play in the 1992 Senior Bowl in Mobile, Alabama. It's Mobile, isn't it? Mobile, Alabama, alongside American All-Americans and high NFL draft choices. Tyrone led Western to the national title, catching 5 passes for 157 yards. He was selected the game's MVP, and at the Senior Bowl, he proved he belonged, scoring the only offensive touchdown in the East Squad's victory. He was a first-round draft selection of the Calgary Stampeders of the CFL and taken in the 9th round by the NFL's Phoenix Cardinals. He eventually signed with the Dallas Cowboys and was assigned to the team's practice squad, and through hard work and improved performance, Tyrone made the Cowboys roster and played in 5 games during the 1993 season.
When he was playing pro, and I would see him in the summer when he came back to Halifax, he never had any false airs about him. He was just a nice kid who accomplished some neat things, but he didn't think that he was overly important, and he was very pleasant. I mean, whenever I saw him, it was always coach and it was always Tyrone, and it was never that he was bigger, better, this and that. He just was very well brought up by his parents, and just a terrific kid.
He was cut in '95 by the Cowboys, unsuccessfully tried out for the Bills and the Bears, then signed with the Stampeders halfway through the 1995 CFL season. The Stamps won the West but lost to Baltimore in the Grey Cup game. Prior to the 1996 season, Tyrone was swapped to Toronto, where he combined with Doug Flutie to catch 60 of Flutie's passes for 895 yards and 8 touchdowns. With Tyrone's knack of being in the right place at the right time, the Argos won the Eastern Division before toppling Edmonton for the Grey Cup. And we have a bit of late arriving footage today. It actually came in from Larry Haler, the head university football coach at Western Ontario. Tyrone's giggling. Let's see what his former coach has to say.
As good a football player as Tyrone Williams has been at all levels, he's an incredible person. His integrity, his moral character, the qualities that he possesses as a person are those that any of us would be proud to have in children. Tyrone, we're honored to have had you at the University of Western Ontario, and we salute the selection committee of the Nova Scotia Sports Hall of Fame for choosing you to induct this evening amongst a great group of people. You bring enormous pride to your family, to Halifax, to Nova Scotia, and might I claim also to Western London, the province of Ontario. And while you'll always be a native of Halifax and Nova Scotia, we're going to always claim you as a Mustang. Congratulations, Tyrone.
Tyrone Williams, always a champion, the wearer of 3 championship rings from the highest levels of professional football in the U.S. and Canada and the top university ranks in Canada. An all-star in high school and university, and now an honored member as an athlete of the Nova Scotia Sport Hall of Fame, Tyrone Williams. Your moment, man, your moment. Let us bring Kevin Sanford to the stage to present the certificate of induction to Tyrone Williams. Kevin is the promotions manager at the Chronicle Herald, one of our longtime corporate sponsors. And to present the Hall of Fame pin to Tyrone is former QEH Lions football and basketball coach Bob Douglas. You look like Elvis here with the rings. You got to tell me what those things are unbelievable. What are each of those?
This is our actually second Super Bowl ring. We won 2 years in a row with Dallas. So it's a little bigger than the other ones, kind of. Basically, they're all too big. I don't really wear them except for special events like this. And this is the Grey Cup ring with Calgary. With Toronto.
All right, they look great. Yeah. You got 2 of those ones?
Yeah. This one's got a little baby brother. Okay. A little smaller.
Beautiful. What when you look back, I mean, a whole bunch of rings, a whole bunch of passes caught, a whole bunch of touchdowns scored. What stands out for you on a night like this?
You know what? I think, I guess from the example of my dad being here, I think the important thing in life more than that is people. And I think I'm blessed to have like I said, my dad, some more family, his wife and son, and some family and friends over here. 2 of my closest friends, Sean Matley and Corey Marsman, who had a hand in me getting here as well. So those things, I think the people more than anything, the relationships you build, the accomplishments are great, but that's what stays with you, you know.
What have you done post-football?
A couple things. I worked in Toronto for a little while, living in Toronto, living in Mississauga. Worked with the Raptors in the Leafs for a little while, and been working in banking and finance, and interviewing for a couple jobs when I get back right now.
Always a Nova Scotian, though, right?
Definitely. This is always home.
Yeah. Tyrone was telling me that he'd love to work as a color analyst, right, on CFL games maybe somewhere. I think he'd be awesome. So, yeah, go for that by all means.
I said it's a bit of a thought, and while we're on that topic, if there's any media here, I had a little interview today on CBC, and I didn't forget. I mentioned that myself and Stephen Moore, they were 2 Nova Scotians who've been in the NFL. I wasn't quite sure what the status of Dwayne Prevost. I didn't realize in '97 that was the year I stopped playing football. To be honest, I really didn't watch any football. That was a tough year to get through, and then kind of put football behind me, at least the playing part of it. I didn't realize he had spent most of the season with the New England Patriots. I think he was on the injured reserve. So if there's any media and they can mention that, it'd be much appreciated. As I definitely didn't want to slight Dwayne, who actually I did some training with, who I really like as a person, and as a fellow Nova Scotian, wouldn't want to overlook.
Yeah, that shows you what kind of guy. This bugged him badly in that room across there, and he wanted to get that out, and that basically says all you need to know about Tyrone Williams. Proud to have you.